the initial reason for asking for this ordinance, which was delivery trucks. So when we held a working session, we, the council, held a working session with the Environmental Commission to discuss this proposed ordinance in 2011, members of council who'd been here for a while were not happy that what we were being offered was a much broader ordinance that tackled idling in a number of different ways, and asked the Environmental Commission to go back and look at it again. In the last 5 years, and it's amazing to me that it's been 5 years, the Environmental Commission has met with people in a variety of elementary and secondary schools in the city. They have held workshops for parents. They've held in-services for teachers. They've talked with business owners and delivery companies in the downtown, and they have refined their goals. The ordinance that we see back at the table allows the city administrator to determine the best place under the best circumstances to establish no idling zones. It is my expectation that that's an appropriate ask of the city administrator. Note that the concerns that were voiced here at the table in 2011 and at the Environmental Commission focused on the impact of long-term idling in an area where there was a concentrated number of pedestrians. And that's why we focused in later years on working with schools and working in the downtown, because there are a lot of pedestrians going into elementary and secondary schools, and there are a lot of cars waiting to pick those pedestrians up at the end of the school day. There are a lot of pedestrians going by delivery vehicles in the downtown, and sometimes there is no route that would keep the air clean if you're a pedestrian. In front of us then is that revised ordinance. It does not specify locations where a no idling zone could be established, because it leaves that to the discretion of the city administrator. It does state that there won't be enforcement for a year, which is very important because people will need to understand, and we will need to understand, the best places for no idling zones. Unfortunately, in my view, although the ordinance was submitted to members of the school board and the school administration for comment, none of them commented. And so I cannot tell you what impact they might see at an elementary school, what concerns they might have. But I will tell you that when I discussed this with members of the school board and the school administration, they already had a policy in place that addressed school bus idling. And they felt that on school property idling was not an issue. It was on city property, on the streets in front of schools, while parents waited for their students to come out, that idling became an issue. And that's where we are.